Jesus said to his disciples, "As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Remain in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and remained in his love. I've told you this so that my own joy may be in you, and that your joy may be complete. This is my commandment: love one another as I have loved you. A man can have no greater love than to lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I shall not call you servants anymore, because a servant doesn't know his master's business. I call you friends, because I've made known to you everything I've learnt from my Father. You did not choose me. No, I chose you. And I commissioned you to go out and bear fruit, fruit that will last. And then my Father will give you anything you ask him in my name. What I command you is to love one another." The Gospel of the Lord. Now, Jesus in the Gospel talks about friends. He says, "I shall not call you servants anymore, I call you friends." So let's think about, what is a friend? Mr. Zuckerberg has been in trouble lately. He's got up to a few things, but I think the thing that he did worst of all was in Facebook he changed the meaning of friends. You know, you can just click and you've got a new friend. You click and you defriend. Well, Jesus is not talking about Mr. Zuckerberg's kind of friends. You know, when Jesus was on earth, he limited himself a lot. He took on a human nature. He bound himself to be in one place and one time. So he couldn't have an enormous circle of friends. There were some people who were very close to him when he was on earth. Obviously, his mother was the closest friend he had, Joseph. John, among the apostles, was very, very close, but Peter and James were also pretty close. And then you had a little bit wider circle, the other apostles, and then, of course, there was Martha and Mary and Lazarus. But there were hundreds of thousands of people that Jesus never met. So they couldn't have been his friends when he was on earth as a human being. But of course, we are celebrating in the Easter season, Jesus is risen. And he's no longer confined to one place and one time. He's free. He's got a risen body. And so he's no longer confined to a small circle of friends. He's now able to be an intimate friend of every single one of us. And that's what he's chosen us. He said, "You didn't choose me, I chose you." We have been chosen to be friends of Jesus, intimate friends of Jesus. And isn't it wonderful what kind of love he has for his friends? What kind of love he has for me and for each of you? He said at the beginning of that gospel, "As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you." Now, the love of the Father for Jesus, it's a divine love. It's an infinite love. It's without any limit. It's beyond anything we can comprehend. And that's the same love that Jesus has for us. Because Jesus, now risen Lord, he can't love by measuring out a certain amount of love, so that he loves Joe Chirkop more than he loves Father Kevin O'Grady. No, he can't love that way. He can only love without any limit, total and complete. So this is a friendship that's a bit unbalanced in a way, because he's pouring out infinite love on us. What kind of love am I giving to him? That's the challenge, isn't it? What kind of love are we giving to him? And so how can we become better friends of Jesus? Well, he's given us what we have this morning. We have the Eucharist, we have the Mass. And during the Mass he feeds us with his body and his blood. Goodness, how intimate is that? He wants to be so intimate with us that he comes right into us and becomes one with us, absorbs himself into us. But if we are really friends, we'll do more than spend an hour or so with our friend a week and then completely forget our friend for the rest of the week. So obviously another way that we develop our friendship with him is reading his word. I should ask you, how many of you read the scriptures every day? You tell the truth. Oh, I'd say that's about 80%. That's not bad. That's pretty good. Yeah. Well, that's important. And the other 20% that are not doing it, better start. Jesus wants to be close to you. That's one way, of course. And another way is, Jesus is present in every church, in the tabernacle, all day long. In Lidcombe, he's present in exposition. St. Joachim's there day and night, 24/7. And there are other churches with hours of adoration. Pope Francis has more than once said, no church should ever be closed. He's urged priests to leave their churches open all the time, so people can always have the chance to visit Jesus. And it's interesting that in the United Kingdom, in England, they had a survey, and they found that the churches that were broken into the most were the churches that were locked and closed, because nobody was around them. When the church is open, there's less chance of it being, not that it never happens, but it's less chance of it being broken into. So churches are open, and then we should, if he's there welcoming us, waiting to receive us at any time. If we have a friend and we pass by the friend's house, if they're really good friends of ours, we'll want to drop by. I had that lovely song, one of my favourite songs of Stevie Wonder, wasn't it? I just called to say I love you. Yeah. Well, we could do that with Jesus, If we love him and we're passing by the church, even if we've only got a few minutes, we can drop in and call by. Develop that friendship. I told you last week about Father Damien there on the island of Molokai. He went to that hellhole, that place of disastrous place, and he began by spending his time with Jesus. And from that, Jesus helped him and worked through him to transform that place, the whole place. So in the words of the gospel today, Jesus is saying, I call you friends. I don't call you servants anymore. I call you friends. You didn't choose me. I chose you. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Remain in my love. So we could pray to him and say, Jesus, you have loved me so much. Your friendship is the most perfect friendship. But I'm a poor friend to you. I want to be your true friend. Help me to grow closer to you day by day. Help me to love to be with you, to love to visit you, to love spend time in prayer with you, and to read your words and listen to your words in the Holy Scriptures. Dear Mother Mary, you were the closest of all to Jesus when he was on this earth. Help each of us to draw closer to him and to become true friends of the one who longs to befriend us.